What if the real power in North Korea isn't who you think? Everyone knows Kim Jong-un, but behind him, there's someone else, someone who sees everything, controls more than you realize, and is now stepping out of the shadows. Her name is Kim Yo-jong. She is the younger sister of North Korea's leader, and for years, she stayed quietly in the background. If you looked at old photos of North Korean events, you might have seen her standing a few steps behind her brother. Always present, always watching, but never speaking. That was the old Kim Yo-jong. But today, she is believed to be one of the most influential figures behind the scenes. And when I say influential, I don't mean in the way we usually think about influence, like social media followers or public speeches. I mean real influence, the kind that shapes policy, the kind that decides how a nation of 25 million people is presented to the world, not a celebrity, not a social media star, yet her words can shake entire nations. Think about that for a moment. A single statement from her can send diplomats into emergency meetings. A single warning from her can make headlines across every major news network in the world. And she does all of this without ever appearing on a debate stage, without ever giving a single interview, without ever explaining herself to anyone outside her inner circle. So, who is she? And why does she matter? To understand Kim Yo-jong, you have to understand the system she operates in. North Korea is not like other countries. It is a place where information is tightly controlled, where every word that comes out of the government is carefully measured, where the image of the leader is not just important, it is everything. And Kim Yo-jong, she has been closely linked to North Korea's state media and political messaging for years. Her role is not ceremonial, she is not just attending events for show, she is helping shape the leader's public image, controlling official statements, managing how North Korea speaks to the world, whether that's through state news agencies, diplomatic channels, or even direct statements aimed at South Korea and the United States. In a country where image is everything, she is the one behind the curtain. Imagine that responsibility. Every photo released of the leader, every speech drafted, every message sent to the outside world, all of it likely passes through her or her team. She controls the narrative. She decides what the world sees and what the world doesn't see. And here's what makes this even more fascinating. This isn't speculation. Her involvement in propaganda and messaging has been widely reported by experts and international media. We know from defectors, from analysts, from years of observation that she holds a position of tremendous trust. She is not a distant advisor, she is family, and in North Korea, that changes everything. So what changed? When did she stop being just the leader's sister and start becoming a power in her own right? Over the last few years, her public appearances have increased significantly, and not in small ways. She started attending major events that were previously reserved only for the top leadership. Military parades where the entire nation watches. Diplomatic meetings where foreign officials visit Pyongyang, high-level ceremonies that signal who holds power and who doesn't. And then, something even bigger happened. She began speaking directly to the world, not through official news agencies reading a prepared statement on her behalf, but through her own words, her own warnings, her own voice. When tensions rose between North and South Korea, it was Kim Yo-jong who issued statements. When relations with the United States reached critical moments, it was her voice that carried the regime's message. She went from being a background figure to being a front-facing representative of one of the most secretive governments on earth. According to experts, this visibility is not accidental. She is becoming more powerful and more visible on purpose. Some analysts believe this is part of a long-term strategy. Others think it reflects the growing trust her brother places in her. Whatever the reason, the result is clear. Kim Yo-jong is no longer hiding. She is stepping forward, and when she speaks, the world listens. Let me give you some perspective. Most countries have official spokespeople. They have foreign ministers, they have press secretaries. But in North Korea, statements at this level are usually reserved for one person, the leader himself. Yet Kim Yo-jong has issued official statements and warnings to South Korea and the United States multiple times in recent years. These aren't small comments, these aren't casual remarks made in passing. These are high-level political messages the kind that can shift diplomatic relations, escalate tensions, or signal openness to dialogue. One day, she is warning about military exercises. Another day, she is responding to international criticism. Sometimes her tone is sharp and confrontational. Other times, it is carefully measured, but always, it is intentional. In fact, many of her statements have been interpreted by experts as direct signals from North Korea's leadership. When she speaks, analysts around the world stop and analyze every word. Governments adjust their responses. Media outlets run breaking news alerts. Whether it's about military exercises, diplomatic relations, or rising tensions, her words carry weight. Real weight, the kind of weight that most people will never experience in their entire lives. But here's the strange part, despite her rising power, she rarely appears in media. Think about that. She is one of the most influential figures in a country of 25 million people. Her statements affect international relations. Her role touches everything from propaganda to policy, and yet we know almost nothing about her. She doesn't give interviews, she doesn't do public speeches like other world leaders, she doesn't sit down with journalists to explain her views. Her personal life is almost completely unknown. We don't know where she lives, we don't know her daily routine. We don't even know for certain the full extent of her official titles. This low visibility creates something powerful, mystery and curiosity. The less we see her, the more we wonder, who is she really? What does she believe? What does she want for her country? What does she think about the world outside? And in politics, especially in a system like North Korea, mystery itself can be a form of power. When you are invisible, people fill in the gaps with their own imagination. Some see her as a master strategist, others see her as a loyal protector of her family's legacy. Still others wonder if there is more to her story than we will ever know. But the truth is, we don't know. And that uncertainty is exactly what makes her so fascinating to the world. So here's the question that experts keep asking, the question that makes headlines, the question that no one can answer with certainty but everyone wants to explore. Could she be the future leader of North Korea? Now let's be clear about something important. North Korea is a country with strict government control and a powerful family-led system. Leadership is not decided by elections or public opinion. It is decided by bloodline, by loyalty, by position within the inner circle. Being part of the ruling Kim dynasty gives her significant influence. Her brother holds the top position today. He is the leader, the face of the nation, the one who ultimately makes the final decisions. But in the future, what happens then? Some experts believe that if there is ever a leadership change, for whatever reason, she could be a strong candidate, not because of popularity, not because of public campaigns, but because of trust. She is part of the inner circle, the family, the small group of people who have been there since the beginning. And in North Korea, family ties have always shaped power. The history of the country is written in the story of one family. The Kim dynasty has ruled for decades, and within that dynasty, loyalty and blood have always mattered more than anything else. Would she become the leader? No one knows, and no one outside North Korea can predict with certainty. But here's what we do know. She is already preparing, she is already visible, she is already speaking.